Welcome to episode 35 of In the Lab. This week, we're asking the question, how do you teach entrepreneurship? Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of In the Field. We're talking about entrepreneurship. How do you teach it? And I guess three things. Number one, if you've seen anything that Sir Ken Robinson talks about, he says that we're teaching completely wrong. In the last 100 years, we haven't even updated how we're doing it with one person in front of the classroom. That needs to change. So education to me is already fundamentally flawed unless you're experimenting, unless you're teaching, unless you're doing something completely different. Two, you're teaching entrepreneurship, which is more of an art form than a science, I would say. And yes, the science parts of it, yes, you can teach that, but you don't learn inspiration, passion, perseverance from a textbook. You have to get that by experiencing it. And so I go back to how I learned, and in my entrepreneurship class, we created a business plan. That's it. You see, you had one person, the teacher, judging you on what you did. And yeah, it was a fun class and all, but that didn't give me anything. It didn't give me a skill set. The way Jordan McFarlen teaches it at Campbell Business, you start a company and you actually experience entrepreneurship. You experience failure. You experience when you're not making sales and you don't know what to do. That is the coolest. So I took inspiration for that. And my third point is, if you're not willing to fail, if you're not willing to be vulnerable enough to fail, you're never going to reach your true potential. Thanks, Vicky, for that quote. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to try something that's never existed before. So what I'm doing with my Saskatchewan Polytechnic, Admin 224, great class, take it next year if you want to. It's an entrepreneurship class, and what we're doing is we're actually not just creating the business plan, we're actually creating the business. And so it's called upliftingtshirts.ca. You'll hear a lot more about this in the next few weeks. We're ordering t-shirts next week. We've partnered with Carmichael Outreach, and we're selling t-shirts for social entrepreneurship. We're trying to create money to donate back to Carmichael. We set a goal of 10, I always say it 10,000. It's not 10,000. I wish it was 10,000. That would be amazing. Please buy lots of t-shirts. $1,000 we want to go back to Carmichael Outreach, and we figured out last class that we can actually do that this year. So we have about 6 weeks to do it in. So I'm going to report back at the end of class how much we actually made off the t-shirts, how much we donated, and what the class learned. I think it's going to be amazing. So thanks to Jordan and the Campbell Business Program for inspiring and I'm not going to say it's the way to teach it. I don't think anybody can say this is the way to teach entrepreneurship, but it's a step in the right direction. So please experiment, try something new, inspire your kids to learn more than what you think is possible. That's really what entrepreneurship is all about. Thanks for tuning in. Ask questions here, and then subscribe here.